some older questions, so I'll go to the older ones. If we can go to the general section.
Yes.
In the general section, there's some questions about Tafsir al-Mizan.
Yes.
I'll start with question number 2 because it's very close to some of the points you had mentioned today. The question is as follows. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaykum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Can you briefly explain the point about the levels of causes in regards to immaterial things? For example, when we speak about a feeling of the presence of Allah or speaking to Allah or interacting in some other way, is it we are interacting with a reflection of another reflection, example of the reality of Allah? It is very depressing to entertain such an idea. Are we just sending a message to 10 couriers instead of speaking to Allah Himself? Then, what we are closer to Him than His jugular vein. Doesn't Allah interact with us directly as close as we can handle?
If I understood the question correctly, the answer is that it depends. There are people who have some kind of experience of encounter with God, but that might be just their own imagination. They just own, even sometimes, fantasy, or sometimes, some false, thought. Imam Baqir alayhi salam says that even people who are careful, not those who suffer from shirk or ignorance, even if you are doing your best, still what you think of God is your own creation. كلما ميزتموه بأوهامكم في أدق معانيه فهو مخلوق مثلكم مردود إليكم. So some people may just mistakenly think, but even if you have the best, في أدق معاني, in the most precise and accurate way, if you try to understand Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, still Allah is greater than this. This is your imagination. Your imagination is always less than yourself, because it's difficult for someone to say that he has utilized 100% of his capacity in imagination. So our imagination is our creation, so it's less than us. Then how can we have imagination of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is much greater, infinitely greater than us? So, for us, it's very, very difficult to make sure that first of all, we have no element of materialism or anthropomorphism in our imagination of Allah. Either we think of Allah as a material thing, or at least like a kind of human being. Many times we think of Allah as someone in the sky, or someone behind, I don't know, these stars, but anyway, someone is somewhere. These are not correct. But we can say that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has these specifications that we learn in Kalam and philosophy, but the reality of His existence is beyond our understanding. And we should always do tasbih whenever we think of God and describe God. Only mukhlasoon, not only, even not mukhlisin, mukhlasoon, they can do proper imagination and description of Allah. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun illa ibadallahi al-mukhlasin. Because those are the people that are purified by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, taken up by Allah Himself after they have done their best to rise. So, my answer to this question is that it depends. Sometimes we are not really thinking of God. Sometimes we think of God, but we have to be careful to leave aside shortcomings and problems. But you can little by little go higher and have a kind of encounter with God, which is not dependent on using these limited notions and concepts and language. But still, we as human beings would never have the same understanding of Allah that He has. As Rasulullah said, مَا عَرَفْنَاكَ حَقَّ مَعْرِفَتِكَ. We can never understand Him in the way that it is perfect. I don't know if I answered the question because I'm not sure I understood it, but I hope this was the answer to the question. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, Sheikhna. I'm sorry, I'm just going to jump in, inshallah, take over for the remaining questions. So, inshallah, we'll go to question number 3.
Yes.
So, the question starts with salam.
Alaikum assalam.
If something is happening in your life that is making you feel hopeless and you want to keep faith in God, but of hopelessness and fear is stronger, what should you do?
We must know that with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala there is no despair, because He has infinite power, infinite knowledge, and infinite love. The only problems that would narrow down the things that we receive from God are two things. One is limitations of this world, and second is they may conflict with the wise plan of God for humanity in general and for us in particular. So there are limitations in the world, and there is also a wise plan of Allah. If you insist too much on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He can do something miraculously to overcome those limitations. But what about the wise plan that He has for humanity and for you? Do you want Him to compromise? For example, suppose a father is a doctor and there is a child who is ill and needs surgery. The child is crying hard, I don't want surgery. But there is no way to have this treatment without surgery. So, do you expect this child to understand this? No, as a child may not understand. Keeps crying, even if he knows that there is no other solution, crying because he's thinking only about now, has no long-term vision. But we as adults, we should not be like the child. We should trust that Allah has the best plan for us and He is wise. We just ask Him humbly, but we don't impose our request on Him, and we are never despaired because He can overcome limitations. He also has a wise plan. If our du'as match His wise plan, we will get it, even if there are limitations in this world, although the cost might be too much. Because you are somehow using a way to pressurize that might not be very good for you. Like, for example, I can go and, rudely ask my father a lot and then get what I want, but you have somehow damage your relation with your father. So, no chance for despair, but this doesn't mean that you would necessarily sooner or later get what you want. It means that we have hope that first we can get what we want, but we have greater hope that the end of affairs would be better for us. This is the main hope. That whether I get what I want or not, I have great hope that things for me will improve regardless. And with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you always should have hope. More than the hope that you have in yourself or in your even action. In dua, Abu Hamza will say, Ya Rabb, inna lana fika amalan tawilan wa raja'an aziman, if I don't misquote something like this. We have great desire and great hope in you. حقق رجائي, in some dua we say, please materialize my hope. So hope is very important, but we have to be realistic and we have to broaden our vision. No chance for despair with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala if you are asking for something which is good, which is wise. Never despair. Yes, if I ask for something which is vicious or something which is not good for me in the long term, then I have to be careful. Allah yahfazkum.
I think Brother Farouk Bandawi has a verbal question, so if he's online, we can proceed.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaykum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you?
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. How are you, Sheikh? So
Alhamdulillah, thank you very much. We are in Kenya.
Yeah, mashallah. My wife was saying that you were there, mashallah. Nairobi is the town that I was born in. So,
mashallah.
Subhanallah. How has been your experience so far? I hope it has been a blessed experience.
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. Since your birth, many good things have happened. Alhamdulillah. We had very good program yesterday and also today. Alhamdulillah.
Sheikh, I thank you so much, for your lecture today on sincerity and on the lectures. I had some follow-up questions on sincerity.
Yes, please.
And I thought I should maybe kind of verbally ask my question so I can give the context.
Inshallah.
So it's a two-part question.
Yes.
So the Irfani definition of sincerity, subhanallah, is a very, very, as you said, very difficult definition, but we must work as believers to strive for that. And so one of the sort of points on sincerity is when a believer is doing some work and he's looking for feedback from the other group of people that he's working with before, and so on and so forth. And sometimes he may not get feedback, and so the believer may be disappointed. Like, he did the work, he or she may have done the work sincerely, but he's also looking for feedback to say, is this good or not? And when they don't get the feedback, how does that affect the low level of sincerity, the fiqhi definition of sincerity? That's question number one.
Yes.
Question number two is in sincerity, as you were teaching us, there are steps. Has there been any works translated in the English language or available in the Arabic language that speak to this is sincere level 101, and then you work this way, and now you do muraqabah, muhasabah, and now you can go to sincere level 102 and then 103. Is there any material like this for that talks about a stepwise approach to understanding sincerity?
Thank you very much. To seek feedback is not in conflict with sincerity. Actually, when you are sincere and humble, you need feedback. Yes, I don't seek praise of people or reward of people. Yeah, one of the things that we have in hadith is that you don't become mu'min and sincere unless praise or blame of people for you would be the same. Or one of the signs of munafiq, hypocrite, is that they love to be praised. Or when they are seen doing something, they are more happier and more energized. So if I want people to praise me, and without them praising me, I don't have motivation to do something, this is wrong. But if I do something sincerely, but I need people's feedback, especially feedback of mu'mineen, so that I realize I have done something good or not. I have to correct myself, I have to improve myself, or I have to keep carrying on. This is not bad, actually, this is very much needed. And we always, I think, should ask for feedback. Yes, there are things that you are sure. For example, you do your Salatul Layl. You don't need to ask for feedback. Tell someone, I have done Salatul Layl, what is your feedback? Or you have done some private charity, you don't need to ask for feedback. But for example, you are doing a charity for some time, you can ask people, was it useful or not? I am teaching, I am lecturing, we are opening this, for example, place. Please give me feedback, because as a servant, we have to do what Allah wants, and we don't have any way to ask Allah directly. So we have to ask wise people, we have to ask people who have experience, we have to ask mu'mineen, so that we can have a better understanding of what is Allah's opinion about this action. So, seeking feedback not only is not bad, it is actually something that should happen, except in cases which are very clear or very, very much private and personal. But when something becomes social, when something has impact on others, on community, I think without feedback, you cannot do things properly. Sometimes I use this example. I say, when, for example, planes or, for example, say marines on the sea, the way they can avoid hitting mountain or, cliff is by sending wave and seeing whether it comes back or not. This is like getting feedback. So when I say something, I should always get feedback. Like a person who is, driving, but he doesn't have very long vision. He has to ask other people who have better vision, tell me, should I go this direction or should turn right or left? Very, very important to get feedback, but not as a kind of thing that gives me motivation. And without that, I don't have motivation. No, as a way to discern whether my decision, my action were okay or not. And of course, as human beings, we would be happier if we know people appreciate what we do. It's not a problem. We don't do it in order for getting the pleasure, but we would be happier if people appreciate. That is not also a problem. Thank you very much. Brother Farooq, are you giving me feedback or not?
I did Jazakallah khair. It was very, very helpful to understand.
Alhamdulillah.
And I was part of what I understood, even without you stating, is that even when we are asking for in that there may come praise, but that's not the initial intent.
Exactly.
You ask for feedback with the intention to try and learn, and if there is praise, the akhlaqi thing to do is to just be humble and quiet about it. But the more important piece of this is to move forward. Sheikh, because of time, I don't want to take Brother Mustafa's time out from here, but the second question was about the stepwise article.
Okay,
stepwise article
yes.
From Sincerity. I don't know if we have time for that discussion.
Yeah. At the moment, I don't remember. Maybe there. I didn't see it, or I have seen. I have forgotten. Imam Khomeini in Adab al-Salat has different degrees of khulus, but in the way that you say that, to say that, okay, this is the first degree, you do this, and then you go to the second, and then like this practical, I don't remember seeing this. Either doesn't exist, or I have not seen, or I have forgotten. So I cannot be very helpful, unfortunately.
So one feedback could be, inshallah, you can do that in some time in your future. How busy your schedule is, inshallah.
Inshallah. This is feed forth. So you are putting me. This is a good suggestion, inshallah. May Allah bless you.
May Allah bless you.
أحسنتم جميعا. شيخنا إن شاء